La plus grande de nos richesses ne se mesure pas en millions. Nous vous faisons découvrir des ovnis pour vous permettre d'en devenir un, vous aussi. Sportifs, entrepreneurs, artistes, ils nous partagent chaque semaine leurs récits de véritables trésors d'informations.
And let's go. I think it's the second OVNI podcast episode I record in English. The first one was, you probably haven't listened to it. The last one, it was in the summertime with the red glass dude. I loved him from San Francisco. You haven't heard about him? No. Okay, no. I'll send you the episode. So welcome, Rebecca. Welcome to OVNI and to the show. I mean, actually, it's cool. We are very happy to have you on board.
Thanks, Matthieu.
Okay, so tell me, Rebecca Miller. That's where does that come from, actually?
I am half German and half English. So okay. Miller is my English last name.
Okay.
From my mom.
Okay, so it's, I guess, very common, right?
It's incredibly common.
It's like you got Stefani Martin in French or something like this, right?
Yeah, it's like German Müller.
Okay. Is it a problem? So when we look for Rebecca Miller on LinkedIn,
there's so many. It's actually nice. I can hide behind so many.
Yeah, interesting. But you're the Rebecca Miller, which is half German, half Spanish, and who lives in Spain, right?
Yeah.
Which is
half German, half English, but live in Spain.
Okay, yeah, I said Spanish. Sorry, yeah.
I feel like maybe on the inside I'm a bit Spanish. I already like eating late. I'm already quite outgoing. Yes,
pretty cool.
I found my culture.
All right. So you just joined OVNI. And the idea of what we're going to do today is that I want to understand why, first of all, because this is, it's like, what was OVNI to you before? I mean, it was very French, and it's a funny idea at some point. And then, what are you going to do? What are we going to do all together? What should we expect from you? Why are we going to be much better with you? But it's not. You already have your contract, so don't worry. It's not a recruiting. Yeah, it's signed already. But first of all, if you agree, can you just introduce yourself and tell me where you come from, what you're doing, what you were doing right before? Because
of course.
You were an entrepreneur, right?
Yes, I've been an entrepreneur twice.
All right.
I grew up in Germany, and I lived in Berlin, which is a big part of my identity. I love music. I love nightlife, which was actually my second venture. Okay. My first venture was in industrial manufacturing because I'm an engineer by studies.
All right.
I worked on an idea to improve maintenance, to go from preventive to predictive machine learning.
Okay.
But that was in 2020, 2021, and the world had different problems.
All right. So because of COVID, you had to stop somehow. Yeah.
The team I was working with is actually still going. Shout out to Tejo for keeping that going. But I moved on. I joined Antler's first cohort in Berlin, and I started building a different idea in blockchain. Blockchain 2021, NFTs were all the rage.
Fortunately, you didn't buy too many, so yeah.
I mean, at first I thought, what a stupid thing. And then I looked at smart contracts and I thought, actually, that's really smart. And I built a platform together with other people on leveraging smart contracts for music licensing. As a complete novice, knowing nothing about music licensing, thinking, how hard can it be? Incredibly difficult. And that was... I reached a breaking point on many different ways, and we can jump into that later. But after that, I found my way into VC.
So the idea, just to understand that, was to buy some parts of music, like albums or tracks, and
we had different thoughts, and one of the core themes was that we wanted to make it easier for people to produce and benefit from their work.
Yeah.
Using smart contracts as a way to agree with people on who brings how much IP into the thing, and then how to sign a contract, and then to agree on revenue share or royalty payments later. And one of them could be that you collaborate on a track, or that you give someone VIP guest access to Berghain. You give someone on your guest list.
For example.
Okay. Hot commodity.
All right, and so you moved on after how long for this?
I worked on that for a year. I got pre-seed investment, went through co-founder breakup twice, and yeah, that was a very tough time. And then when I was a solopreneur, I continued building on that for a few months until realizing that it was really not. That's not why I got into the game, to be the solo founder, CEO/CPO/ everything.
All right. So you moved on. Interesting. What are the main learnings you had from these experiences?
Oh, so many. The first one is that chaos doesn't punish you in the moment. It sends you a big invoice later. On my second venture, we never practice what we preach, right? I thought, I'll do the accounting later. I'll take care of the admin later. And later never came. And then once we decided to liquidate the company, I had years of accounting and admin and tax returns to catch up on. It took me so long to find receipts, to figure out what had happened. I had already closed the bank account. It was such chaos.
That's why you live in Spain now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a nice added benefit. No, that's why I'm now such a stickler for... It changed me in a fundamental way. I'm such a stickler for the boring stuff now, because I know what neglect can cause if you don't do it in the moment, and if you don't set it up properly, it can haunt you for years.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, where I learned that was that in the ancient world, when you were a kid, and I already had companies, I had all of the receipts in an envelope, and I would send them at the end of the year or at the beginning of the previous year, the next year, to my accountant. And I'd had to say that was a lunch with, and this was, and you're like, it would take me literally 2 days to do that. And this was the worst days of my whole year, literally. And now with all of those apps like Conto we have and stuff like this, you just shoot them straight away. And then it's done. It's behind you. You don't have this in your backlogs thinking it's going to happen sometime later in this year, actually.
It's such an easy thing, but if you don't do it, it can compound into an issue. Just to go on a brief side note, but it ended in really angry letters from the German financial authority. And they send you things like, if you don't submit this by tomorrow, we will freeze your accounts, and you will be personally liable for up to 50,000. And if you can't pay, you'll go to jail. Germany is very dramatic in that sense. And we even had a arrest warrant issued, not for me, but for someone, just because we hadn't logged an expense in the order of magnitude of a 250 euro expense.
No way.
But it became this insane snowball of epic proportions.
Incredible. Okay, so do now what you can do now, all of those small stuff. Yeah, I get that. And so where did you go afterwards?
Because I had worked in blockchain for a year, I was considered an expert, in air quotes. And so I started consulting on the side because I wasn't earning a salary properly. So I would consult while building my startup. And then I formalized that and became an M&A consultant, so mergers and acquisitions in Bitcoin mining.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
so
a crash
you were
course.
still hustling, but it's I've met a lot of people who made a lot of money doing this, right?
I am not one of them, but it was a crash course because it's essentially infrastructure work. You deal with energy trading, very capital intensive infrastructure projects. They build data centers in different locations. So it's geopolitics, It's finance, debt financing, equity financing, all over the globe. It was really interesting work. I did that for almost 2 years.
That's very cool. So you're a very geek, like you have a very, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I'm an engineer by background, and honestly, my CV only makes sense if you look at it backwards. At the time, didn't make a lot of sense, but now this brings me to OVNI and venture capital. It kind of ties in well together, especially in deep tech.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just drawn to, I guess, geeky topics. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, connecting the dots. I mean, all of you, what you said, your learning, personal learnings about administration, and all of these very techie things gives you a lot of strength to come and join OVNI, I believe. Yeah, cool. What happens then? I mean, how did you end up here? What are you doing here, actually?
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
So my consulting days ended when things became too corporate for me.
Mm.
So the Bitcoin mining industry institutionalized, became very large, became more about. At some point, I found myself sitting in a call with NVIDIA talking about an infrastructure project of the order of magnitude of $200 million in cost.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, who gave me permission to do this? I'm not qualified. And not only did I have massive imposter syndrome, I just thought, this is not what I signed up to do.
Okay.
I want to go back to early stage.
Okay.
So I changed to VC, venture capital. And it was such a fortuitous moment because a friend of mine had connected me to these two founders that I had heard of, who were in Berlin, and they had built their second unicorn. Just
amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Not only did they do it once in Silicon Valley, they then did it again in Berlin.
Incredible.
So I knew of them, and my friend connected me to them, and they were looking for someone to do operations and be their chief of staff. So that's how I came to work in venture
When was
capital.
that?
That was in 2023.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a great opportunity. They took a chance on someone who had zero experience in venture capital. I just knew how to do sort of the pre-seed founder shtick. And my consulting had taught me a little bit about frameworks and systemic thinking and that. But yeah, it was a very steep learning curve, and wasn't always easy. But it was just fantastic to work with these people. I mean, yeah, I'm hoping to bring them on the podcast as well. Then you can hear it from them. But they just have incredible experiences, and it taught me that two people can look at the same data and draw completely different conclusions.
I love that. Yeah.
So they would evaluate an investment and they would see something entirely different. It's not about the spreadsheet. It taught me a different way of thinking, and all while we were building this fund. And yeah, it was just an incredible experience. They've since moved the fund from Germany to the US.
Okay.
And me being part of the team wasn't as crucial anymore. So it was, I think, in November that Arnaud from OVNI he wrote me a LinkedIn message and said, hey, I'm interested in learning about the chief of staff role. Would you be open for a call? I hadn't even really started looking for opportunities.
Oh my God, this guy is incredible.
He had just...
That's what he does, yeah. He knows things before even you do, or even you need them. I mean, it's just, yeah, okay.
It was such a serendipity at its finest. And he had, I think, filtered on LinkedIn people who were working in early stage VC, sort of deep tech, and were in operations chief of staff roles, and had found me, and something about my profile was interesting. And so I was one of a handful of people he messaged, and then we had this call. I don't even know where I think I was traveling. He was traveling. He was at the airport. It was supposed to be a half-hour conversation, and then just expanded into almost an hour of us chatting, him saying he was a DJ, me saying that I love going out, and sort of who are shared passions. And I thought it was incredible what he was building. And then I said, look, I know I actually am looking for a change. If you're interested, I'm going to send you my CV. And then boom, a month later, I joined.
How important is it to have, do you think, to become like an international fund? Because that's what's happening actually right now. Because we have 2 new profiles at OVNI.
I think it has 2 dimensions. It has dimensions on deal flow and it has dimensions on investor relations. And for Europe, I think it makes total sense to expand geographies beyond France. There's some
100%, yeah,
great deals, and that's why we are hiring or have hired someone based in Germany. And that makes total sense. There's so much happening in that space. I think the expansion to the US, which is less about deal flow and more about investor relations, I think it combines 2 great things. It combines European precision on sort of startup and execution. We have great deals in Europe in this space. What they can learn from the US and why investor connections in the US are so important is that they just have a different speed of execution. They think differently, they work differently. There's a lot for us Europeans to learn.
Yeah, I think Augustin being there now in San Francisco is mainly to try to help and bring our companies abroad and in the US especially, and try to understand how this market works and make them understand it's possible. Have you ever worked with European company going to the US?
I haven't worked with a European company going to the US, but my very first real job was actually working for an American company.
All right.
Before remote was normal.
All right.
In 2017, I was the only one in my team working from the Berlin office of a super large American corporate.
Okay.
And my entire team was based in the States. So it's not that glamorous. My business travel would be to Hickory, North Carolina, but it was super cool in the sense that my first sort of formative work experience was with a culture that's very different and that has sort of different values and a different speed and a different cadence.
Plus your 2 co-founders who built a company in the US, came back to Berlin, got back to the US. I guess you were implicated in the move from So
it was really interesting, and I was part of moving sort of the fund from Germany to the US, which has fun sides, like they using platforms like AngelList, right? It gives you different. I think there's some tendencies to do that here now, but sort of slashing bureaucracy, slashing admin, making it easier for people to invest, making it easier for people to access deals, building it out in the open, transparent, less regulation. On the minus side, it meant that I was dealing with German tax authorities and US tax authorities, which is neither the Germans, best, not the Americans. Can I say the F word here?
Yeah.
They don't fuck around.
100%. You can go to jail in both countries for just 250 euros, as you said. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. What did you find at OVNI when you arrived? When did you start?
I started 4 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago. So you already have a good overview of what's in the trunk, right? Or everywhere in the car,
skeletons
right?
in the closet.
Yeah.
I think it validates what I believed when I signed the contract.
You know what? Hold on. What I really hope on what you're going to say is that you found some really dirty shit. And what I'm saying is not too dirty, right? Obviously, but I hope and I think we've been fast enough to break things, right? And as I understand, my partners are smart enough to know what they do, and to understand that they need probably someone to fix some stuff. So that was my hope. Hopefully we didn't do everything perfect, because I would be mad or sad, maybe.
No, I don't think you would be where you are now if you had strived for perfection.
Yeah.
It's highly unconventional. So the mix of who invested first and how this fund came to be. I asked Arnaud to write down sort of the history of OVNI for myself, but also for the new investment manager who's joining. And it's fascinating, sort of what the initial goal was, and then you got more funding, and then it's just it is chaos, but a beautiful chaos that led to so much opportunity now. But it also means that investment strategy has shifted. It's changed. At the beginning it was smaller tickets, now it's larger tickets. Deployment needs to catch up with, or the speed of deployment and sort of the rigor of deployment has to catch up with just how things have been moving.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm here for. I think there's two main things that I've seen. OVNI has switched from being largely French to having a very distributed team, completely remote, in the span of a few months, dealing with a time zone Pacific to European Standard Time, which is 9 hours, 8 hours, depending on summer to winter, which is very disruptive if you don't put in processes. And also, it's sort of this sweet spot between, okay, there was fund 1, and then this is now closed, and now we're deploying, but we're sort of gearing up to fund 2. And what do we even prioritize? I could right now focus on 10 different things if I don't put in sort of my own framework of what I think I should be doing, then I would just run myself into the ground. But it's the remote culture, and then also nailing the fast but also documented decisions.
Amazing. Yeah, I think within this chaos, we did quite well. I mean, raising 60 million total, plus investing in quite a few very nice companies. I mean,
it's 19 now, I think.
Yeah, and some of them are already very successful. So, which, I mean, I was used to VCs that were aiming businesses that I understood more, which were mainly SaaS businesses. So maybe it's an old business, but going into deep tech and just from...
It's a different beast.
Yeah, wow. I mean, and you have to be so focused on what the company is doing, which you don't understand anything when the first time you read the thing. You're like, what?
I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Even the third time you read it.
Yeah. And then you have to get experts and people around, and we have this family around. So I think this is very interesting. But and what I liked also on the top of the guts they have is still the techie part, the geek part. They know how to find the people, to find you. Arnaud knew how to find me, I guess, to find the companies we want to invest in, or the founders that don't even have the company they're going to build. So I think it's very interesting.
It definitely is. It's so difficult to invest, I feel, in general, because you can't know more than the founder. That would be not good, actually. That would be bad if you knew more. But you still have to make a decision based on what? Gut feeling, based on facts. At pre-seed, there aren't that many. Seed, there you have a bit more to go on, but still, early stage investing is you don't want to make decisions based on some hunch that you have. But let's not kid ourselves. I mean, we write these memos, and then a lot of those assumptions turn out to be wrong. So it's not for me, my job is not about being right. It's about being aware of the risks.
Interesting. Where did you put your entrepreneur's skills now? How do you use them on day to day? Is it too early after 4 weeks, or you used to do that probably in your previous job? But
I think I'm way more humble than I used to be. Being a founder teaches you humility really fast.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
I try to approach every deal flow meeting or every portfolio company meeting with that humility.
Mm-hmm.
It's an incredibly tough job. And anyone who decides one day that they want to have the agency to tackle a problem and build a product and take it to market, fantastic. We might not think it fits the investment thesis. We might not believe in the market, or we might not be sure that the founder has what it takes to build this to like $1 billion outcome. And I'm very much that. I learned that I am not a VC backable CEO.
Welcome to the club. Yeah, I'm part of that. Yeah.
It's not for me. And I learned that while I was in the job, realized that it's actually not for me. And so big dose of humility in every interaction. And then also, I try to frame it now, and this is, I think, more the last 4 weeks, because that's when I've been most involved in sort of investment decisions. Framing everything that we discuss more about the probability of something and less about certainty. Like absolute statements are unnecessary and will probably be proven wrong anyway. So what do we think the probability of this being a large market is, or the probability of this product solving a customer problem? So, and then you reframe it less about, I think this is a great deal, to I put the chances of this becoming a great investment at 80% because of XYZ.
How is your are your strategy skills, or will they be used? Probably are you hands-on with each deal, or with each entrepreneur, or what's your role in all of this, actually?
What is my role?
Actually,
great question.
What are you doing here?
Anything or nothing. For me, a chief of staff owns anything at the intersection of disciplines, which is for me the most important, for me personally, not the most important, but the most valuable problem for me to work on, I found in my career. So, example, and this could be a chief of staff in a startup or a chief of staff in the VC context. If finance thinks in like burn rate, tech thinks in milestones, sales thinks in customer contracts. If finance says, we only have 10 months, and then product says, we need 11 to deliver this, it's someone's job to see that there's a gap of, we don't have capital to last us until the product is actually delivered. And then the product might be delivered, but the sales cycle is 6 months, so we're not going to create revenue on this So every discipline has sort of their own metrics and their own way of thinking. And then usually it's the CEO's responsibility to have a big view. The CEO's time is incredibly valuable, though.
Yeah.
So a chief of staff or founder's associate or whatever they're called these days, I think someone who emerges in that gap and says, I own the alignment between these different disciplines, and I own the 360 view. That's how I see my role.
Interesting. So you have to like tower of control, right? You have to understand pretty much everything within all of these specialties. I think it's very interesting. I've never seen that before, that point of view. Because for example, I used to have a sales background, and after that, on my first startup, we had a finance guy, a tech guy, and I was the CEO. But my prism was sales mainly, and what you're saying here is like it took me years to understand all of the tech area, and then years to understand all of the finance stuff. And to be like a CEO, you still have to understand everything, but still you have to go fast and be aware of sales. And so it's very interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Ideally, it takes a while to get into. I don't think you sort of just work as a chief of staff. I think you sort of emerge as a chief of staff because you've worked in an industry or you've worked in a company. I think most people, I saw some study on it, are actually quite advanced in their career.
Mm-hmm.
And then you fill that gap because you know enough about the different disciplines that you understand them to a certain extent, and then you can try to support alignment.
You know what? The most recent story I had with the chief of staff was probably 2 days ago, and this guy we've released this movie on YouTube about how China became unbeatable, right? That's the title, and and we give you all of the answers, and so within that documentary, we have a lot of interviews and some of which with important business guys, and their chief of staff came to me and said. The CEO came to me and said, "Well, you cannot put this in the film. This is way too much what I said. You have to cut here, and here." And the chief of staff called me after that a couple of days and said, "Look, I understand your point. We didn't fight, but we were close to a fight." And I said, "I understand your point. He's freaked out, but trust me. I'll make things clear with him. I'll reassure him." So he was kind of on my side, which because he thought we were right, and I made my point. And at some point, my thought was, he must be on his boss's side. I mean, it's. But no, he thought we were right, and it was even not that bad for them, or even better, good for them. So it was interesting, and at the end. We had to cut a couple of pieces of content, but probably 10% of what I would have expected. Yeah. So.
Well, I think my loyalty is to OVNI, not to the general partner.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's exactly that. Interesting. So you're going to stay and live in Barcelona?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Do you plan to travel a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have travel plans to Berlin, Paris regularly. I might move in the future. I think I have a sweet deal with Barcelona right now, but might not be sustainable if we scale.
Cool.
So I'm open to that. But for now, it was a nice break from 13 years of winter in Berlin.
Do you miss being an entrepreneur? Is it?
Oh no.
No.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'm still haunted by that. I think I finally managed to liquidate my LLC, but no.
So you're not going to end up in jail, fortunately?
No,
okay.
I think not.
Okay, nice. Did you already work on some of our future investments?
I did. I was involved in 2 investment committee meetings now.
Okay.
Which were very different. Depending on who the deal owner is, it is a very different process, and I'll tackle that. But very interesting to see how people think, how they build conviction, what they research, when they involve experts, when not, how they approach the team, and how they pull them in to support them on the memo and on the deal making. Very interesting.
What skills matter most today for high level of operators, actually? What would you say?
That's a good question. I think being okay with ambiguity and making clarity out of chaos. You have to sort of walk a fine line between. My nature is I'm a bit type A, right? So I want to have structure and like, is this decided or not? But this might not be the best approach depending on who you're working with. So formalize to the point where you think it needs to be formalized, but leave some flexibility and some chaos, because that's where the magic happens, right? Not every deal will look like the most perfect deal, and it might not fit the template or the checklist, but it might turn out to be great. And whoever brought the deal saw something that maybe I don't see. So process is good, but it isn't everything.
But that might be something very important for a chief of staff, right? That must be some place you should start with.
Yeah, whenever a process is not followed, it's like an itch I can't scratch in my brain. But I've learned to live with that.
What do you look for in founders or exec team you work with?
I love high agency people. They don't say this is not what I do. This is like I work in this little square box, and what's left and right is not for me.
Which is very important if you're early stage, right?
Yeah, and the type of people who don't sit there on a Sunday evening and dread Monday. I always made a pact with myself that if I ever get to the point where a Sunday evening is ruined because tomorrow work starts, I would change. And early stage founders and all the people I've worked with so far are like that. There's a different rule that can also be applied. It's the puppy and beer rule. I don't know if you know it.
No.
Like, would I trust this person with my puppy?
Mm-hmm.
And do I want to drink a beer with that person? So there's people who fall in one or neither category, and then there's people who fall in both. And I want to work with the people who fall in both categories.
Yeah, I'll do both with you, I think. Yeah.
I can take care of a puppy, and I'm fun to hang out with.
Yeah. The problem with me, if you hang out with me, is that I will never give you the puppy back. So okay. I'll keep it. That's probably actually you shouldn't.
Reminder, I will never ask you to dog sit.
Yeah. Well, if it's a puppy, I don't know. Let me ask you a few quick questions.
Okay.
Finance or ops?
Ops. It's more my thing. Ops is where the decisions and the strategy is. That's where the power is.
All right. European or US work culture?
European precision, but US speed.
US speed. Okay. Do they work more in the US?
Depends on who you ask. I mean, I think so.
Okay.
Depends on where.
Yeah, I think in the Valley they do, but everywhere else they don't. Probably. I don't know. Tool you couldn't live without?
A good CRM.
Which would be?
Well, there's a couple. We work with Affinity. I've worked with Matthieu in the past. There's HubSpot. There's all sorts, but it's less about the tool and more about the adoption. If you have everything that is sort of relating to who you speak to when you've spoken to them, what you talk to them about, if it's relationship mapping is so important because it's a relationship business, good CRM.
I think it's something I've been, aware of very young, but it took me years to really tackle, actually. And I now use a CRM, a French CRM called Folk, which is very cool, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And we use also Affinity, but yeah. I have this new button on Folk, which is enrich. So you put this guy or girl from YouTube, I don't know, LinkedIn, and you'll add it to her to Folk, and you put enrich, and then it puts you all over email address, phone number, everything. So even if you don't have them, which is if you're not connected, so it's very powerful. I love it. Cool. What's your AI use level?
Oh, I think I'm still amateur.
All right.
I mean, I've gone through the different cycles of, okay, I'm using ChatGPT, I'm using Perplexity, I'm using Claude. I dabble here and there. I think my most recent thing is that I try to program it to be my coach.
All right.
So we use Granola, for example, and Granola listens to all your meetings.
All right.
And then you can ask it, what were my 3 mistakes this week? Or
wow.
So I didn't, because
it's not that amateur. It's pretty good. Yeah. So.
That's what I like. I mean, there's also a lot of on workflow automation and all this kind of stuff. But
which AI do you use most?
Currently, I think ChatGPT. It's just my go-to for everything. It's my paralegal. It's my exec assistant. It's my researcher. It's
and which subscription do you have? You know?
I have a pro subscription.
So the $20.
Yeah.
You have to change to the plus, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. That like this deep research stuff that takes like 20 minutes to answer a question wow, it blows my mind like every single day. Yeah, it's 180 more, but we can offer that, I think. Okay. One thing every founder underestimates.
How much admin debt accumulates.
You've been traumatized.
I have been truly traumatized. Yeah. How much bureaucracy accumulates.
Is it going on the right side? I mean, is it getting worse or, I mean,
there's this initiative now to make an EU Inc. That I think will solve a lot of things because, man, we don't make it easy for people. We don't make it easy to start companies. We don't make it easy for investors to invest in companies. Founders deal with so much stuff, and then the only people who profit are notaries and lawyers. We have this one practice in Germany, which I find the most ridiculous, is that when you sign investment documents in front of a notary, he has to read them out loud.
Oh, wow.
So for a pre-seed, that's fine. But I remember sitting down and he just speed reads these documents to you, and you sit there for 2 hours while he speed reads them. The poor notary, he doesn't enjoy this either. And then, but if you get to Series A, they sit there all day, speed reading every page of every document.
I've never heard about that.
It's insane.
Yeah. What I knew is that I think it's still the case in Spain, but it definitely is in Tunisia, where I used to have a couple of companies. You had to go to the town hall, the city hall, to sign stuff. So if you wanted to recruit someone, it's not like it has to be made in front of an official agent. So there's absolutely no like DocuSign, YouSign, stuff like this. You had to just fly to Tunisia to sign big contracts, and you're like, oh, how can this happen, right? But I think the other thing, or the reason why it went there, is that sometimes, at least when you're like a follower investor, like very small one, small tickets like I used to do before OVNI. I mean, let's be clear, you just receive some stuff, you read them like 45 pages in like 25 seconds, and you'll go, okay, who signed this? Yeah, they signed this. Okay. Probably they did the same. They just looked at after who signed this, and then you sign it without knowing exactly what you're signing, right?
I mean, that can happen, but I'm not sure that someone speed reading the document to you will
for
help.
40 hours. Is someone you're listening to. All right. What is your what are your expectations on OVNI? What personally? Yeah.
I think this role is where all of this jungle of experiences finally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It ties in nicely with my engineering background. It's deep tech, which I find fascinating. It's my finance and sort of ops tendency. And finally make use of my type A. And it just ties in nicely together, and I'm hoping that I'm out of all this change. So in the past, since 2020, when I left my corporate job, it's been failed startup, no bankruptcy, startup bankruptcy, failed startup, M&A consulting, moved out of that, fund, moved out of that, and now I'm here. I would like this to be for the next 10, 20 years.
Would be great, yeah. Because you're still joining at the very beginning.
Exactly.
I mean, it's practically almost co-founding, so it's great. Shall we aim at the moon, at the stars, or just be more reasonable at OVNI? Or should we expect from us the same trajectory than from our startups? Should we want to be the next Andreessen Horowitz, or...
I mean, we do want to be the European Sequoia, so I think so. We need to hold us to the same standards we hold our founders to.
Yeah.
You aim high, and then you see how far it gets you.
What are, according to you, the ingredients that are going to make this happen or make this possible?
The people.
I was thinking actually that the move on like Berlin, maybe Barcelona now, but could be Helsinki, or that move could be quite important.
I think geographic reach, and then also making sure that this team feels. It's only when the team feels empowered and feels like they're working on something that is larger than them.
Mm-hmm.
I always get super motivated when I have the feeling that everyone else is motivated. That's why I got into the whole startup business. You have this romantic idea of people building in a garage, and it's like they're best friends, and it doesn't matter whether it's Monday or Sunday. It's a very romanticized idea, and you should have boundaries. But it's the spirit, you know.
Yeah.
You only have one life. You spend so much time working. Why not work on something that you feel passionate about?
Yeah, and with co-people, you can give your puppy and drink beer with.
Give your puppy too, and you want to have a beer with.
Yeah, 100%. Rebecca, are you active on social? I mean, should we follow you on LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter or where?
LinkedIn. I'm trying to get off Instagram.
Okay. Yeah. That's a tough one too. Rebecca Miller. So we'll put the link because I guess it's not linkedin.com/Rebecca Miller. That would be.
It's /Rebecca -N-Miller.
All right. Not too bad.
I should be findable.
I you know what? That's one of my stupid pride, which is I have the linkedin.com/Stefani, which is my last name. And that's an
exclusive.
Yeah, very exclusive. But I found a way to buy the Stefani.fr at some point, but not the .com, which is too expensive because a cousin of mine is called Gwen. You know that singer, no?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no,
that's
it's
your
not.
cousin?
No, not at all. Right. So we'll follow you everywhere. I'm very excited. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a fun year, and yeah, actually, I hope we're going to go to Barcelona soon to.
Oh yes, please.
Yeah,
I have a beautiful office
for the next seminary. Okay,
thanks
nice
for
to
having
meet
me.
you. Yeah, and well, we'll have a debrief at the end of the year, probably. Yeah, so you tell us all of the skeletons you found also after.
I will.
Yeah, okay,
I'll come for an exclusive.
Thank you, Rebecca. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.